Hello, it's John again. I got another review here from this weekend. I went to the Spooky Ranch at the Rock and R Ranch in Lorain County. It's in Columbia Station off of Route 252. Hi, Shanny. And it's got four, technically five bits, but it's really four. And it's kind of a small place, and they kind of do all right with kind of what they have. I hadn't been there in a few years, and there's a few reasons for that. And I was admittedly I was a little hesitant because there were some reactions with people there before that were a little uncomfortable in some ways, but I didn't have any females with me. It was just me, so I thought, okay, maybe it would some of that, but there wasn't any problems. It was really cool. They had every it's a Lorain County spooky ranch thing, and one of the houses is supposed to be like a saloony kind of thing. So yeah, you get the accents and the this, that, and the other thing and everything like that. But um, everyone was really kind of cool to interact with. You could banter with people. They were kind of joking. They were trying to make scenes of things and could play around and stuff like that. Even the people at the doors were pretty interactive with a lot of things. And there wasn't any sort of um, I didn't have any sort of negative interactions. It was pretty good all the way around. And from what I understand, next year is going to be their 30th anniversary, I think the guy said. So they're going to, really revamp things and kind of make a big deal of it for next year, which was pretty cool. Like before, if you would have told me that, even before this weekend, if you had told me that, I'd been like, yeah, okay, cool, great, awesome, good for them. They're 30 years. Now, after I went there, I'm sort of like, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. It was really cool. Since the last couple years, again, been a couple years, so since last time I've been there, they kind of changed some stuff up, updated a couple things, and it was interesting. It was kind of fun. So the was it there's a was it 3D Nightmare? I'm trying to see the thing. Oh, it's like Monster Vision 3D thing, and they give you little, you know, the papery 3D glasses like for a movie. And everything's sort of black lit and with the paint. So there's a lot of like ropes coming out. It's all pretty much clown carnival themed for the vast majority of it. There's a couple places that are got like a Egyptian sarcophagus and like a mummy painted on the walls or something. It's not that occupied with creature actors or anything like that. A lot of it is sort of the actual scenery of it, the paint, the lighting, the interaction with the 3D things, the music with that. But it was kind of neat. I enjoyed it. Usually that's, especially the heavily clown stuff, I'm like, oh, okay. But it was actually kind of neat. They did a pretty good job with it. Again, the people were interactive and in like in a good way. So that was pretty good. There was I think I went to Extreme Nightmares after that, sort of haunted house. And it was pretty solid. Again, it's kind of the same thing. Like the theme of it was a little bit different than obviously than the Technicolor 3D Killer Clown sort of thing. A little bit more house based, country house based. You kind of came out and there was, you know, um, there's I think there's like a chicken coopy kind of play, or was that in the next one? You know what? That was in the next one. Hold off on that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty solid. I get the same thing. The actors were cool. A lot of the scenes were pretty neat, and some of them were. I really went, oh wow, that's really cool. Like I really dig this scene. The way they set up the walls, especially when it looks crypty, especially when there's sort of like vampire kind of thing, anything like that. I'm probably always going to be a sucker for vampires. I don't know why. Maybe I just, what I was watching a lot as a kid with Dracula or something like that kind of got in there. But um, yeah, it was solid. I mean, it wasn't nothing really. If you remember, really sort of was holy crap, this was amazing. This one thing like blew me away or anything. It really wasn't like that, but it was a pretty solid. Like this is a creepy rundown house. It's haunted and got creature monsters in it, and then the people were interactive, and that was cool. I went to the was it Blood Slingers Saloon? Yeah, Blood Slingers Saloon. Couple things with that. One, apparently, if you go to the Spooky Ranch at all on a relatively slow night, be prepared for everyone in one of the houses to go on break all at once. So I went there, and they're like, it's going to be a few minutes. Everyone's on break. I'm sorry, what? You have everyone, everyone in the house, all the actors in the one thing go on break at one time. That kind of bugged me. The lady who was kind of the ticket taker, doorkeeper sort of person. She was super cool. She was like, "Man, I'm sorry. If you got any of the other ones to do," and I'm like, "The only one I have left after this is the hayride." I went that it does kind of arc in a certain way, and I just followed that. This wasn't the first one I did or the second one. It's the last one before the hayride. And the people behind me were in a similar situation. Um, Next couple groups of people behind me are actually in a similar situation. So just so you know, that is a possibility that might happen. So it didn't take that long, and there really weren't that many people when I was there too. So they kind of were able to gather people quickly, but you might have to wait because everyone will go on break at one time. That being said, that Blood Singer Saloon also, I couldn't go in by myself. Uh, for at least the first part is like a staged scene, pretty much. So they kind of had to take us in a certain group. So I was with like two or three sets of other people. But it was kind of an interactive little scene and stuff like that. So I mean, they kind of play on Old West saloon sort of thing. So I'm sure you can imagine some of the themes, shall we say, that they were kind of joking around with, and they played with that, and it enabled me to kind of interact with them in a different way because everyone else was sort of paired off or grouped off, and even in the groups paired off, and I was the only lone single guy there, so it was sort of like, oh well, we're gonna play with this a little bit, which was fine. I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't uncomfortable, it wasn't demeaning or anything like that. It was just sort of like the one guy was walking down the line and the girls saying stuff, and I'm like, oh, I know where this is gonna go, and it did, but it was fun. And there's even a part where you kind of go around and uh, it's sort of country thing, so it's almost sort of like, oh, here's like mutant chicken coop or animals with this or something with that. This one guy had this like pumpkin head, not pumpkin head like the movie with Lance Henriksen sort of thing, but an actual like jack-o'-lantern mask sort of thing, these big old fangy teeth, snaggletooth things. But the articulation on the mask was really kind of cool. It was like, it still have the teeth here, or at the other almost like lip parts are able to move as well. It was really neat. Um, but then, and you kind of come out and go back in, and then like there's a pen out here that has goats. That's at night, so you don't really see the goats, but there are goats. And there's another pen over by the hayride thing that's got little ponies, little horses, and those were cute too. Uh, so I mean, they did a pretty good job of people moving as well. Again, there really wasn't that many people there, which is fine for me. But they still did a pretty good job of keeping things rolling, keeping things kind of moving, even with the smaller people. Once people got to work with that. And so yeah, it was fun. So those sort of three houses were fun. They were good. Even the sort of hyper neon clown one. No real complaints. The people in them really cool. The sort of highlight of this place though is the hayride, and it is it. Oh, I'm assuming it's going to actually be straw and not hay. Apparently, I did not realize this until recently that first of all, I thought hay and straw were pretty much the same thing. Apparently, there's a difference. Apparently, straw a little bit more comfortable than hay. Animals eat hay. Straw is more comfortable for people. I think I have that distinction right. If I don't murder me in the comments. Sorry, I grew up in Lorain. I live in Cleveland. I don't really have much to do with straw or hay. But I do remember from Midsummer Night's Dream, Nick, as the donkey was talking about sweet hay, so that helps me with that. Anyway, so the hayride's kind of the highlight of it, and it's actually kind of neat. So there's a tractor, big long trailer with it. It's got the hay. The kind of walls are like that, so you can't really recline too much because it's really just digging into the middle or the small of your back. And I will say, just without giving anything away, um, just know that location is important. That's all I'm going to say. Location is important. And but it's fun. There's a couple places where they stop at along the way, and it is a pretty long hayride actually. And there's pretty much everything's got the accent and people talking with this. There's the casket dealer, but he was trying to do more of a New Orleans sort of accent. I think that's what it was. Oh, I'm looking to put you into these caskets. You want to buy one? Oh, cheapskates and this, that, and the other thing. Couple of little kind of neat jokes in terms of the size of the caskets and stuff like that. But it was like a little scene. Even got a little character in there. Um, but so that was cool. There's a couple of them like that. There's one of them with a hanging, which is well done. There's a lot of things with good timing and things like that. And there's actually a part where it's got like these weird like glow cubes. It's like sort of okay, yeah, we kind of got like almost a bayou, creepy backwoods thing. And there's one part that's like industrial, weird, glowy cubes, like some sort of like punk zombie sort of thing might happen. And then back into old timey hanging thing. And then almost down like this sort of darker path with sort of, jack-o'-lantern, almost more like pagan-y sort of stuff going on. So, they do different things with it. And it is kind of nice. It is kind of cool. There's like a cemetery thing, and one girl who does um, a dance thing to Thriller. And she does a pretty good job with it too. I give her a lot of credit. She did a good job. It was a little cooler that night too, so her characterization, walking up the steps and building in with the song and building into the dance and everything, did a pretty good job. And there's like cars, and some of them are smoking, and there's lights and stuff like that. There's a couple places with big bursts of fire and everything, so that's cool. And yeah, it's really good. It's fun. I enjoy the hayride part of it. Again, that is sort of the highlight. And then this is the difference between the 4 and the 5. Technically, the hayride is one thing, and then the barn is another. At least on the ticket, it says so. But it's really just part of the hayride. So um, this was always in years past a mixed bag for me, because they take you into this barn and they close the barn, and then there's a couple scenes set up. There's some vampire stuff, a big bat thing, a dragon thing. It seemed this year that something was missing. Maybe the three kind of sections weren't as long as before, or they cut something out. There seemed to be something missing. Um, or it seemed to be longer or something like that. And I don't know if maybe it's just my perception, being, even though I was by myself this time, I spent the last, the hayride and like one or two of the houses. Um, Ended up sort of tagging along with this other couple, and we were making jokes and bantering around and stuff like that. I've done a lot more this year of, just sort of really getting along. Not that I don't always get along with people, but doing more of being a little bit more gregarious, not extroverted, a little bit more gregarious. It's very draining. By the time I get home, I'm just like, I talk to people today. Um, but it's just something that, even though I don't always enjoy doing, I like being kind of good at, because it's just a good skill to have, and sometimes it's just sort of fun. And some of the people I was joking with, it was fun to joke with people, and um, but even though like the group I had went with before, I joke with and say make comments and things too, is that something about the barn this time didn't seem to be what it used to be. And but I wonder if maybe they're like, okay, well, we're not going to make any big changes now within the last, 2 or 3 years, because the 30th anniversary is coming up, so they're going to really amp it up next year. I don't know. It also could be, this is where the mixed bag of the barn used to be for me, or had been in the past. The person driving the tractors never turned the engine off in the barn. In some of the other places, they turn the engine off. For some reason, not in the barn. So in years past, this thing is filling up with diesel fumes, which I apparently am fairly sensitive to. If this barn and an ambulance ride and being around buses and all this other stuff and things like that haven't taught me this before, I'm fairly sensitive to fumes with that. They make me pretty nauseous pretty quickly. And maybe a little migraine-y, gets into sweating, and it's not even so much. I know it might be because my lungs are kind of compromised with different stuff anyway. I had asthma, anxiety, panic disorders, bad sinuses, allergies, history of some infections and walking pneumonia and stuff. So my lungs are kind of like, I try and take good care of them. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. And maybe, if we think about, sort of, you know, if we're talking about like traditional Chinese medicine thing, yeah, you mess with the lungs, then other organs and other systems throughout are going to be affected too, and that's just part of it. I don't know. So that might be one of the reasons why I perceived the barn part, to be longer in the past. So it just could be my perception with it, because I had my scarf doing this to try and not get fumed out too much. This year it didn't happen. The guy kept the thing on, and I don't know if the ventilation was different. I don't know if maybe it was shorter, so there was less chance of the whole thing filling up. Or they cracked the doors differently than they had done in the past. I don't know. But I didn't have a problem this year. So that's encouraging, in case any of you have other problems with fumes or things like that, like I do. So I didn't have that problem. I really didn't. I mean, I smelled the diesel. I'm pretty good with smells. Like, I've had clogged sinusitis for virtually my entire life. So it's like my sense of smell is compensated for that. So I pick up smells really well. So I could still smell some of the diesel, but it wasn't overwhelming me. I didn't get nauseous. I didn't get sick. I didn't get a headache. I didn't even get a headache, which is saying something. Uh, so maybe that is slipping into my perception of, hey, this is not as bad. It's and also shorter. I don't know. But I had a good reaction, or good interaction with everyone. Besides the other people at the house. When I say that, I'm talking about the actors. I'm talking about the people running the doors and the tickets and all that sort of stuff. They do have a couple like carnival kind of stands that have like food and stuff like that. Just barfy carny food. Apparently they don't take cards though. So if you're going to get something to eat there or anything like that, again, no, I mean, it's not going to be fine cuisine, number one. Number two, apparently they only take cash. I was told this by someone who was like, yeah, I was going to try and get such and so, but they only take cash. I lay my card. I'm like, oh, good to know. I wasn't going to get anything, but you might want to. I don't blame you. There's been a couple places where I'm just like, I'm going to have some fries now, whether I or you or anyone likes it or not, because fries. So you know, they have that there. After the carnival one, it spits you out into this little shop. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not super amazingly stocked with stuff. It's got some kitschy Halloween things, a little bit of candy, a little bit of this or that. Um, I mean, it's just a little shop sort of thing. I mean, it's not even like a full blown like this is our gift shop. We've got tons of kitsch stuff with our name plastered. It's not really that. Um, but there is some other stuff there too. I don't know if they take cash or card. Again, I haven't gotten anything from it, and I didn't think to look into it when I went out because it was after that that I was told that the food stuff only took cash, so I didn't think to ask at the shop. Sorry. But overall, Spooky Ranch in Columbia Station, Lorain County, pretty good. 3.5, 4 stars probably for a smaller place, a smaller operation. Um, Pretty cool. Especially since I was kind of like, what's this going to be? What's going to happen? And it was cool. I didn't have any problems with anyone. Uh, again, the actors were interactive. I didn't get sick in the barn part with the diesel fumes, so I'm always going to be positive about that. Hay rides are fun. Again, the scenes aren't going to blow you away or anything like that. It's we're not we're not in a full blown Disney or Hollywood production here, and stuff's been tested on test audiences and X, Y, and Z, all this other stuff or anything like that. But they were fun. It was fun. It was fun. That's really kind of I'm looking for. If I'm trying to look for, if I was like I really need to see really good Shakespeare, I'll save however many hundreds of dollars I'll need to save, and I'll go up across the lake and into Ontario and go to Stratford. But the Halloween stuff, cool environment, especially with the hayride, fun. What else are you gonna do? It's Lorain County too, so yeah, that is the Spooky Ranch at the Rockin' R Ranch in Lorain County, Columbia Station, off 252. And yeah, 3.5, maybe 3.5 stars, between 3.5 and 4, probably more around 3.5, maybe leaning a little towards 4, depending on how I feel at the time. But pretty good. It's worth it. Go see it. Cool. All right, I am signing off. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'm John. Happy haunting.